Good morning, everybody. Mike's MMA Picks with your Fight Morning Quick Card Breakdown show, brought to you by BetDSI as well as MMA Oddsbreaker. We are here for UFC Vegas 22, where we have Derek Brunson taking on Kevin Holland. Should be one hell of a matchup, scheduled for 5 rounds. I'd appreciate if you could give the video a quick like, and we can get the subscribers joined here. Let's start out with the first fight of the evening for your Fight Morning Quick Card Breakdown show, where we have JP Bays, 9-2 record, taking on Silva. Silva, been around the block, 10-5-2 overall record, 7,900 in DraftKings for Silva. JP Bays, fighting out of Fortis MMA, South African grappler, 8,300 over at DraftKings, minus 145 betting favorite. You watch this tape, you see JP Bays is going to look to use his ground game, put Silva, the black belt, on his back, and that may be a tall order down the stretch here, because you watch Silva and his fight against Ulanbekov. Very impressive performance despite the loss. Fighting out of Fight Ready. I am going to be rolling with the underdog here, Silva. I believe that he has some crack in his punches, and he could potentially catch JP Bays. But if that does not happen, JP Bays could potentially ride this one out. Give me Silva, the Bulldog. Next up, we head to the men's 135-pound division, where we have Jesse Strader at 6,800. Massive underdog here, and rightly so. Taking on Montel Jackson, coming in at 9,400 in DraftKings, minus 705 at the betting window. What this comes down to is, can Montel Jackson get this done inside the distance? And the tape leads me to believe that that is a realistic probability and possibility. This fight's expected not to go to a decision at minus 250, and you watch the tape here, and you see that Jesse has struggled with fighters who are at range. When he has a reach discrepancy, he could run into some serious trouble. So this fight, I'll be picking Montel Jackson to win inside the distance. Next up, we head to the men's 185-pound division, middleweights, where we have Roman Dolidze coming in with an 8-0 record. He's popped by USADA before. Heavy hands, those heel hook submissions, I don't put a lot of stock into those, but a lot of fighters use those as maneuvers to get back to their feet. He's going to be taking on Giles here, who's coming in with a 13-2 record, still only 28 years old. $8,000 in DraftKings, minus 105 betting favorite for, well, actually, I apologize for that. Dolidze is the betting favorite at minus 125. This line has closed significantly, and I believe that is happening for a reason. You've got Dolidze coming in on short notice, coming down a weight class. I have concerns about Dolidze gassing out in this spot, and Giles in the smaller octagon. I still see him finding space to get his jab going, and Dolidze is going to be looking to land those hammers. but I'll be picking an underdog here in Trevin Giles. I think that he is a more seasoned fighter. Dolidze is more of a marauder out there. There is a possibility that Dolidze could potentially get this done early, so look out for that. But I'll be picking Giles to coast. Next up, we are heading to the 155-pound division. We've got lightweights where we have Grant Dawson, who you watch DraftKings, you play DraftKings, and you know top control time, grappling aspect is sought after these days. But Leo Santos has been around the block. This is a guy who began his professional career back in 2002 against Takanori Gomi. He's a seasoned Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt who has some tricks up his sleeve. This guy has been rolling with a winning record and is now on a 7-fight win streak that dates all the way back to 2009. 7,600 plus 175 underdog for Leo Santos. I think this is a live wagering opportunity in this spot. If Leo Santos does not get Grant Dawson out of there, then Grant Dawson James Krause trained fighter should pull away in the second and third rounds. And I would not rule out a TKO victory for Grant Dawson in this spot. Also, submissions in play. In this fight, though, it's a dangerous spot. I think that minus 215 could potentially be, you could be asking for trouble over there. Leo Santos is a live dog, and I will be picking Grant Dawson in this spot, though. I think that Grant Dawson, at 27 years old, with a lot of, he's got a bright future ahead of him, and he can push a pace. That's one thing that he does have, and his cardio can kill you. So, and we've seen Leo Santos in some rough spots before. Next up, we head to the women's 135-pound division where we have bantamweights. We have Marion Reneau, 9-6-1 record, 7,500 in DraftKings. She's 43 now. She's actually older than Leo Santos, taking on Macy Chiasson. Macy Chiasson, 8,700 in DraftKings, also a minus 215 favorite here. 29 years old. I watch Macy Chiasson, and it's rare that you see fighters regress. And to me, that's what's happening here. She's gotten by on her physicality and not much else to it. Fortis MMA trained fighter who the team would like her to implement a game plan, and she is just not able to do so. And that potentially is a major issue, especially when you get taken down and controlled by lesser fighters. Problem is, Marion Reneau, she really has about a round of gas in her. I didn't like the look of her performance against Raquel Pennington. She can be battered and beaten, and when it comes down to it, I think Macy Chiasson has a more well-rounded striking game that could cause, and I think the length is going to be an issue too. That down the stretch, Chiasson should win this fight, but I am not counting out Marion Reneau. We've seen Macy Chiasson burn people before, and she's one of those fighters who is regressing. Next up, we have the wife of a fighter on this card. We've got Cheyenne Bays taking on Montserrat Ruiz. Montserrat Ruiz is a 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu fighter, 9-1 record, 7,100 plus 255 underdog. I think that this fight could be lined a little bit closer than it currently is. 28 years old for Ruiz. This fight is expected to go to a decision. Bays, she's the new lady on the block, coming off of the spectacular win on the Contender Series. Everyone's favorite darling, 5-1 record, has fought in Invicta, LFA, 9,100, minus 335 at the betting window. As far as DraftKings goes, Bays likes to pour on volume. I see that happening in this spot. I see Bays going for it, but you watch the Ruiz Danielle Taylor fight. She comes out, looks to land a head and arm throw early, and you see how thick Ruiz is on the scale there. Bays, if she does get taken down, we haven't seen much of her bottom game, so I'm cautiously optimistic for Bays in this spot, though I wouldn't be running out to lay minus 335 here. So give me Bays to win, though Ruiz could potentially be live, especially early here. And we haven't seen the takedown defense of Bays put into play. So give me Bays, but sketchy spot. All right, next up, we've got Max Griffin, Max Payne Griffin, taking on Song Kanan at welterweight. Song Kanan coming over that win that most fighters would kill for the opportunity to fight Callan Potter. 16-5 record, 31 years of age for Song Kanan. 7,700 plus 175 underdog. You watch Song Kanan, you know he's got the striking. He does have solid cardio. So in the Moreno fight, Max Griffin, now getting up there, 35 years old, very, very durable fighter. Could have won that fight against Alex Oliveira, against Cowboy. The Brahimov fight took that dude's ear off. Pretty solid performance, you'd say there. Problem is, you don't want to see Max Griffin get caught up in a stand-up affair. This fight, I'd like to see him use his grappling in this spot and wear Song Kanan down in this spot. 8,500 minus 215 at the betting window. We've seen a lot of minus 215s out there. So you, in my eyes, you watch the tape back. Max Griffin has a key to victory here, a path to victory in the grappling department. He's got to utilize it, and he's got to go to it early. Give me Max Griffin. All right, my friends, let's get up. Let's get ready for this main card. Let's turn things up a notch, where we have Adrian Yanez taking on Gustavo Lopez. Gustavo Lopez has been in there with Murad Dvalishvili, and we saw what he did to Burchak last time out. He is facing a Yanez here who is now a sizable favorite at minus 225, 8,800 in DraftKings for Yanez. You go take a few minutes after this breakdown and head over to YouTube and type in Adrian Yanez highlights, and he has some spectacular finishes out there. Yanez, 27 years old. Concern is his defensive grappling. He can get potentially taken down in the spot. Facing Gustavo Lopez, who's 12-5, has had his lights shut off in the past, though. That is an issue. And Gustavo Lopez could potentially get finished here, especially by strikes. 7,400 for Gustavo Lopez. This line could potentially be a little bit closer, plus 185 underdog. Fight isn't expected to go to a decision at minus 195. As far as DraftKings goes, I see this fight pushing a pace. I'll be picking Yanez. I did like what he brought to the table last time out. We did hit that inside the distance prop last time out. Give me Yanez here, though Lopez could potentially cause him some problems. Next up, we've got a heavyweight slobber knocker ahead of us, where we have Harry Hunsucker. Let's move up here to Harry Hunsucker against Tai Tuivasa. These guys are going to come out and bang. Hunsucker, you watch the tape, he has no fear entering the pocket. He does have heavy hands, and this there is some variance out there at heavyweight, and Tuivasa loves getting into these brawls. He's going to have one here against Hunsucker, who's 7-3, coming out of the Kentucky regional scene. We saw what happened on the Contender Series, but the guy does have heavy hands. 6,900 plus 335 underdog. Look at the fight doesn't go the distance prop here at minus 675. Everybody, Nick Kalikas mentioned that the fight doesn't go the distance. That originally sat around minus 265, now minus 675. Look how wide that line is now. I do see this one finishing 8,900 in DraftKings for Tai Tuivasa, minus 485. I don't see this turning into a fight that is going to end up against the cage and guys are going to be looking for takedowns, etc. I think these guys are going to come out and stand and bang, and somebody's going to fall. And Hunsucker should be that guy that falls. A concern, though, of mine is Tuivasa. You watch how he reacted after his win over Stefan Struve. Concerning. I think he was pissing himself in the hotel room and posting videos on I don't know what if it was Instagram Live or what have you, but you watch the tape on Tuivasa, and I have concerns with the self-discipline after his victories, getting back to the drawing board, and if he gets caught in a firefight, this that could potentially happen here. I know he does train with a solid team, so give me Bam Bam for the win. Next up, co-main event of the evening, where we have Gregor Gillespie taking on Brad Riddell, City Kickboxing Zone, striking coach, as well as UFC fighter who has a kickboxing background and solid striking, but not so solid takedown defense. And Gregor Gillespie is going to look to come out here and exploit that in dramatic fashion. He will attempt to win by any means necessary. Now, you watch Gregor Gillespie. He's coming out here after that dramatic head kick loss to Kevin Lee. We haven't seen him in quite some time. $9,000 in DraftKings for the gift. Gregor, minus 260. At the betting window, 13-1 record. He doesn't fight very often, and he is not a spring chicken, Mr. Gillespie. Taking on Brad Riddell, who's coming in with a 9-1 record, 7,200 in DraftKings, plus 210 underdog. You watch the tape. You want to research both sides of every fight. The Alex de Silva fight, taken down a number of times. Magomed Mustafa's fight, taken down a number of times in that fight, but he found his way back to the feet. And this fight, the early going, you have to see when Gregor looks to enter the pocket, when he looks to set up these well-timed takedowns, he's going to have to be careful, because Brad Riddell could throw a knee up the middle, could look to land something with vicious intentions as Gregor looks to close the pocket. So potentially dangerous spot, though. The longer this goes, you know Gillespie has tremendous cardio, and you see him winning this fight. And congrats to those who were able to lock up this in the minus 140s, and look forward to seeing how this one plays out. So give me Gregor Gillespie, though be aware that he is coming back off of the head kick knockout, and we'll see how he looks. Next up, main event of the evening, where we have Derek Brunson taking on Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland, 8,400 in DraftKings, a minus 180 betting favorite, 21-5 record. You know, he's put a lot of work in over the past couple of years. Still 28 years old. concerned that he hasn't had that shoulder operated on. We've seen in the DiCirico fight, he ran into some issues there, and it hasn't reared its ugly head inside of the octagon since then. But you talk about trying to get a whizzer going. If Brunson has double underhooks against him, could potentially run into situations where that shoulder gets wrenched. 21-7 record for Derek Brunson. I was at his fight against Israel Adesanya, where Adesanya's takedown defense held up, and we saw how that one played out. 7,800 plus 150 underdog for Brunson. I see a lot of folks are on Brunson in the spot. I understand the rationale for making a play on Derek Brunson. You watch the way he's transitioned his game after moving camps to Sanford MMA. He has a solid wrestling game, and the holes in Kevin Holland's game are there to exploit. The challenge is how long, if Brunson takes Holland down, how long is that going to play out? Is he going to look to land bombs from guard? Is he going to look to try to advance? That's where I see Brunson starting to run into some trouble here, especially the longer the fight goes. You have a Kevin Holland who, after he works his way back to the feet, that is maybe a tall ask for him, but fight starts on the feet, and the reach advantage could be an issue. The striking defense of Kevin Holland is incredible. I'll be honest. You watch his fights, and the way that he's able to stay evasive in the pocket, very impressive. Granted, the guy is well over 6 feet and has a huge reach advantage, but he's able to use that well. Travis Lutter has helped him. Brunson, though, live in this spot, of course. I'll be picking Kevin Holland to win this fight, though. I think that the cardio is going to favor Kevin Holland in this spot the longer this fight goes. Derek Brunson, I see him going for broke as far as takedowns go. He's not going to want to play at range for any length of time against Kevin Holland. So give me Kevin Holland in this fight, and I see him winning this fight inside the distance, especially later the fight goes. So give me him. Could potentially be third round TKO. I want to wish everybody out there a tremendous fight morning. You can follow me at MikesMMAPicks on Twitter. Third-party tracked at betmma.tips. I'll see you in the trenches at DraftKings. Go get what's yours, my friends, and let's dominate the rest of our Saturday. Let's do this.